ओके हाँ हाँ, तो उसमें आपको फाइल चेंज करना है। तो सी, सो बेस्ट क्या है ना, अब जैसे ये फाइल रन करना है ना, तो राइट क्लिक ऑन दिस फाइल नेम एंड देन क्लिक ऑन रन। फाइल नेम के ऊपर रन। तो आप जो फाइल यहाँ पे दोगे वो फाइल रन होगा। यू कैन क्लिक ऑन, जैसे ये फाइल, तो नाउ दिस फाइल विल रन। इफ यू क्लिक ऑन द फाइल नेम नहीं हो रहा है। ओके, तो दूसरा ऑप्शन ये है, क्लिक ऑन दिस मेन रन, ओके, एंड क्लिक ऑन रन, जो खाली रन है, क्लिक ऑन इट। ठीक है, एक बार क्लिक ऑन इट, क्लिक ऑन इट। डू यू सी, नहीं रन, हाँ, डू यू सी अदर ऑप्शंस नीचे? रन में नीचे आ गया ना, हाँ हाँ। नहीं आ रही है? हाँ हाँ हाँ,
जैसे ये मेन है, इसी पे मैं सारा करता हूँ।
करेक्ट।
कल मैंने 29
ये
जुलाई
आपका पीवाई नहीं है, ये टेक्स्ट फाइल। हैव टू क्लिक ऑन फाइल न्यू पीवाई। देखिए ये टेक्स्ट है, दिस इज नॉट पीवाई फाइल। पीवाई फाइल का एक्सटेंशन ये होगा न्यू, देन सेलेक्ट दिस वन। हाँ,
सुन रहे
करेक्ट। हाँ, नहीं नहीं नहीं, आप नाम दे दीजिए, अभी ठीक रहेगा। ओके, क्लिक ऑन, हाँ, अभी देखिए कैसा है ये, राइट। नाउ इफ यू राइट क्लिक ऑन इट, इट विल कम रन 30th July। हाँ, नॉर्मल टेक्स्ट फाइल है वो, जो आपने बनाया था। ओके, so okay, so yesterday we were talking about if condition, right? We spoke about if, else, and we also spoke about elif. Yeah. So did we, what was the last example that we did? Did grade wala na? So we have multiple. Okay, okay. So now let's take the same thing, okay? Same grade wala, and let's say I have average equal to 78, and I say if AVG greater than equal to 80, print grade. Okay. Now see, when you have multiple conditions to write, okay, so जैसे यहाँ पे है, we have 5 to 7 conditions, right? So now here it is a simple example where you are having just print statement in each if condition. But in reality, you might have to do complex operation for each of the conditions. Okay, so it's not possible to write everything in one day, right? If you have 5 conditions to write, you may not be able to write all the conditions here. So what generally we do, and this is just a what do you call best practice, okay, nothing to do with Python. What we have something called as pass. Pass in Python is is like, see, because when you say colon, it expects a statement, because yesterday when you did not give that, it gave you error. So it is expecting some statement. It has to have, when you buy a plot, it is expecting you to build a house. But when you are saying pass, pass is like saying that, okay, I'll come and build it later, or I don't want to build it now. That's what it means. Pass means there's nothing to write right now. There's nothing to write. There's no logic for now. Okay. In Java, C++, we give empty curly bracket, something like this. Okay, saying that, okay, it is condition, but I don't have anything to write here right now. Okay, so generally you build all the conditions. So if avg greater than equal to 60, print या कुछ और लॉजिक लिखते, right? But that logic जो है, you are not ready, let's say, या कॉम्प्लेक्स लॉजिक है, तो 5 कॉम्प्लेक्स लॉजिक यू कैनॉट राइट एट द सेम, ऐसा नहीं कि टक 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 प्रोग्रामिंग हो गया डन 1 घंटे में, राइट? सो सो उसमें क्या करते हैं, वी राइट पास, देन विल कम बैक एंड रिप्लेस द पास विथ लॉजिक वन बाय वन. So first we'll build the structure. Right now we are building the skeleton, the structure. So elif average greater than equal to 60, pass. फिर से elif avg greater than equal to 40. Okay, pass. And now let's say I put ELIF AVG greater than equal to 30, pass. Else, let's say pass. Okay? So we have built the structure of if, ELIF, else. Now you go and keep replacing pass with your logic. So I have only logic for else now, let's say. So I can simply say print, sorry, you have failed. Okay. I can write something like, try again next time, right? You can keep on doing that. Or average. Okay, now let's say I want to implement the average of 80 logic. So I'll go here and I say A plus grade. Awesome result. Whatever, you can write your logic here. Great going. You can write your logic here. So now when I run it, okay, 78 will fall where? Here, right? 78 is falling here. So obviously you have not written anything here. So when you run it, you get nothing. It's not going to throw error. You get nothing because we haven't done anything here. Now, if I make this as 88, then this part will execute. So that's why you're saying, A plus grade, awesome, great going, right? Now, if I make it 20, then you will get into else, right? It is not more than 30, so it goes into else. So you get else part. Okay, now I just say A plus grade. Oh, see, यहाँ change करना था तो वहाँ change कर दिया मैंने. Right? So now you see, sorry, you have failed. Try again next time. Now, if I get 58, 58 will be somewhere here. So we don't have any logic built. So you get nothing. Now you come and replace pass with print. So if you want to give a empty block, you need to use pass. You cannot not write anything. You have to write something, but you don't have anything to write. You have to write something, but you don't have to write. Then you say pass. That's what we do, right? When your turn comes in a game, you don't have anything, you say pass, right? That means, okay, I'm not participating in this round. Kind of, you say pass. Correct. No, what I'm saying is, see, if you have, see, here it's very simple logic. So you can write at same time. But let's say here there's some complex thing which, which might take you 1 week to do it. Okay, it's not always like, it's not that simple, right? In your work, maybe the logic that you have is not clear now. Okay, it will be clear later. You don't know the logic. Or even if you know the logic, itself will take you 1 week. So if it's taking 1 week, right? And if you don't put this logic, okay, this will throw error, isn't it? So that's why you put the skeleton. It's like when you have this आप लोग सीबीएसई से हो 10th, हाँ आईसी से पता 10th क्लास में आपका वो होगा ना नोटिस राइटिंग या कुछ दे गिव यू अ स्पेस यू हैव टू राइट विद इन दैट स्पेस राइट नहीं फिल द ब्लैंक्स नहीं it started from my batch CBSE में from 96 it started till 95 it was like normal essay writing 96 से क्या हो गया इंग्लिश जो बुक था ना you had to write पहले क्या था you get an answer sheet you write the answer sheet okay बाद में क्या कर दिया they started giving spaces within the question paper you have to write your answer within that spaces you can't go beyond can't exceed write a notice in 30 words so you can take 28 to 32 it can't be less than 28 it can't be more than 32 spaces nahi hai wahan pe just like this you are giving the blank spaces which will come back and fill later right so it's like you are putting a structure here and once that structure when you want to fill it you go back and fill it but question paper jab ready karenge they cannot put all the questions below each other they have to leave the space So pass is like giving that space. When it comes to you, you go and remove pass and write your logic. Okay, so we are going and writing that logic. Okay, so it's like placeholder. Basically, it's a placeholder of writing the logic, and you can come back and write logic later. See, here you have to write how many? We have 3 ELIF and 1 if and else. 5 logic you have to write. You can't think 5 things at same time. So I said, okay, first let me build this structure. Then I will come back and think of one logic and I'll start implementing. Take one logic, build it. Take another logic and build it. Okay, this is what it means. Okay, it's just a placeholder, nothing more. Okay, so you can say A grade, or you can say here print 40, right? So we'll say B grade, and here we say, let's say D grade. Okay, so obviously now when you run it, 58 ho gaya aapka B grade. Okay. Okay, so this is, if, ELIF and else implementation. Now let's say I give you one more business problem, saying that if the score is more than 90, invite them for tea with director. Right? So grade is not changing. For 80 plus it is, whether you get 80 or you get 99 or you get 100, your grade is A plus only. Grade is not changing. Okay, but if your score is 90, you have to invite them for tea. So if your score is more than 90, all the things remains valid. On top of that, you get extra step, okay, for tea. You get invitation for tea. Okay, so what you can do is, one option is, no, so see, अगर यहाँ पे ELIF में लगाओगे, this condition becomes true, right? So this will be printed and these conditions will not be checked. So if you are checking for 90, it has to be more before 80. It can't be after 80. It has to be before 80. Sequence में आना है, right? So if AVG greater than equal to 90, okay, so you copy and paste all of these. And then you say print, you are invited for tea. ELIF कर देंगे. Tea at 5 p.m. auditorium. Okay, whatever. Now you put it as ELIF. Now, if you put it as ELIF, okay, so now it works. So if I get 98, it works. But first rule in programming is that any software application, not only programming, any software application, okay, first rule is that data should not be duplicated. Never duplicate data. Why? कल के डेट में बोलेगा कि अरे वो it's not awesome result. Change it to excellent result. Right? So now you don't know how many times you have to change. Correct? So, or if you get more than 80, it should be excellent result, not awesome result. So what happens generally is, you will come here and you will change it. Now when you run it, this is wrong, right? It should have been next. If you get more than 80, it should be excellent result, not awesome result. Correct? So, okay, any application you take, your data should be at only one place. You should be able to change only one place and should reflect everything. Okay, so that's why this is not a good way to do it. Okay, so another way is that let's have two if condition. Okay, let's have two if condition. This if and this if is separate, and I will remove this data. Okay, so now what happens if I get 98? You get this one and you get this as well. Working fine? Okay. Okay, so this is correct implementation. Now, when you are designing any program, any application, any algorithm you are building, You have to keep in mind that algorithm has to be efficient. So when you say efficient, that means it means that your time and space, it should take less. Your same logic, first of all, logic has to be correct. Okay. So let's say if we three are working on same problem. We three write different logic. Obviously, we three are working differently, we'll get three different logic. Now, when you do three different logic, okay, then whose is best? How do you decide which logic out of these three is best? So condition number one, you check for accuracy, correctness. जिसका correct है वो best है. So let's say if one is correct, other two are not correct, then तो correct वाला चला गया. But let's say if all three are correct, it's doing exactly the requirement, what is being asked. Then whose is best? So you look at the efficiency, number of how much time it takes on average to execute or run a program. So now let's say here itself, okay, here itself, let's say if it is 98, okay. So how many conditions are being checked? Okay, this one and this one, perfect. Now if I say 88, then how many conditions are being checked? No, ये भी हो रहा है, ये भी हो रहा है, right? दो, correct? Now if I make it 68, 1, 2, this is wrong, then comes here. 3 honge. So let's write it down here. For 98, for 98 it's taking 2 condition. For 88, it's taking again 2 condition. For 68, it's taking 3 condition. Right? Okay. Now, what I can do is I can also write this as nested if inside if. Matlab, okay, you are doing all these things, and then I will say, or maybe here only I will say if, okay, if average greater than 90, then do this. So what I have done, this if I have put inside this main if. Okay, now this is the first line to be checked. If this is false, it will go here, correct? And if this is true, then it will check this condition also. If this is true, it will print this. So this part, line number 7, will be printed only when your condition 6 is correct. Okay, your condition 6 is correct, only then line number 6 will be printed. Agreed? Okay, so line number 6 is true, only then line number 7 will be executed. But you see, line number 8, 9, 10 is outside this. That means this is not part of this if block. So these 3 print will be called anyways, because this is inside main if but outside the inner if. Okay, so now if I say 98, okay, we get same result. So this program correctness wise is same as the previous one, but let's look at the efficiency. Okay, first let's talk about the time, because every condition will take some time. Okay, so dekhte hain. If I give 98, then how many conditions are checked? 80 will get checked and 90 will also get checked, right? So 2 condition, right? Now for 88, how many conditions are getting checked? Correct, only 1. 68, how many conditions are getting checked? 2 only, right? So see, on average, it has reduced the condition 1 condition. Now let's assume hypothetically कि a condition takes 1 hour to execute. This program is performing 1 hour better than the previous one. Correct? So this is the more efficient way of writing program. This is called nested if inside a if. Okay, you have one more condition. 95 se award milega. So then see 95, when can you get 95? If you can get 90, well then you can get 95. So here also I can put another condition. If AVG greater than equal to 95. Print side hota jayega. PyCharm is doing that for us. You are invited or you win President Award. President. Okay, award. Right? So you're writing if inside if inside if. Okay. So this is how you can achieve this. So now if I get 98, I should get all the three things. Okay. Correct. Correct. Okay. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to spend some time, okay, understanding this. If you want to practice this, understand, and try to solve this one. Find the highest number of the given three numbers. Find the highest number of the given three numbers. Okay. So you can put this in same line so that you can see the entire screen. Okay. Okay. So you have A and B, right? So if A is greater than B, that means if A is greater than B, true ho gaya. So A is bigger. Now you check for A and C. So you check, is A greater than C? Correct? If this is correct, then automatically A is greater, A is highest. Okay. Now what does, okay, let's say this is yes. Now what does this mean? This means that A is greater than B. A is greater than, no. A is greater than B. A is greater than B here, right? And C is greater than A. Correct. That means C is the highest. Correct? So here in no, you will say C is highest. नहीं ये different है. This is a different track. बच्चा कैसे पता कि बच्चा है वो? See, you're only comparing all these things with A. You only know between A with B and A with C. You don't know about B with C. A, you know कि A बड़ा है. Okay, A बड़ा है या C बड़ा है, but B बड़ा है, there is no guarantee because we have not compared B and C. So now A greater than B, false. मतलब B is greater. Now you check for B greater than C. Correct? Now you know if it is yes, then B, and then if no, then C. Right? So पेपर पे हाँ फिर इस पे प्रोग्राम करना. Now let's see how to put this into program. आपका नहीं यहाँ पे करेंगे ना, यहाँ से करेंगे, फिर से करेंगे. Okay, so let's, whatever we have done here on paint, we will try to implement it here. So let's say you have N1, 98, 88, 68. What did we say? A greater than B. If, okay, if num1 greater than num2, correct? B is num2. ठीक है? Yes में, this is what we have to do. Else में, this is what we have to do. Correct? Okay, so put pass. Now let's come back here. If A greater than B, then we are checking A greater than C. So if A greater than C. If A greater than C, यही है ना? A greater than C. If this is true, then pass, else pass. Okay? Now you come here, and if this is greater, yes में क्या है? A. This is yes. So you say print f string num1 is greater. Okay, else में क्या है? Your C is greater, which is num3. So I'll copy and paste it here, and I'll say num3 is greater. Now I come here else. Else may again what we are doing, we are checking B greater than C. So I'll say, okay. Now this is true when A is greater than B. Is A greater than B? Yes. So in this case, when we run this half part, we'll get this answer for this one. You see, 98 is greater. Okay. A is greater than B, this will work. So 98 is greater. If I make it 168, also this will work. Okay, C is greater, 168 is greater, because num1 is greater than. Now, if I make this as 128, now this will not work, because we have not handled B greater than C, right? So this is what I was telling you, that we don't know. We know about A, so A and C will work fine, but we don't know about B yet. So if B is greater than A, then we have not completed the rest of the part. So we'll come here else. Now we'll say if B greater than C. B greater than C. Else may we will say pass, and else may again we'll say pass here. Now let's go and fix it. What is B? Num2. Greater than C is num3. Okay, when B is greater than num3, well, yes may B is greater, right? So we will say copy, and num2 is greater. And here you will say num3, C is greater. That's it. Now when you run it, you will get the answer for 168 also here. करना है, वो करना पड़ेगा. हाँ. ELIF. हाँ. See, ELIF कब होता है? When you have more than 2 conditions to check. Now in this case, see, we are talking about greater. Greater, अगर if में greater है, तो else में क्या हो जाएगा? What is else is thinking? Else is thinking about less than or equal to. So both less than or equal to इसमें आ जाएगा. Okay, else में आएगा. Okay, so if I say 198, 198, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, either num1 में जाए, num2 में जाए, doesn't matter, because 198 is greater. But okay, but if I don't write F, okay, then see what it will say. Okay, it says num2 is greater, right? Because num1 is also greater, right? Not only num2, but the way it is written. Now, when you have 3 conditions to check, then you do ELIF. Now, let's say if you want to check even for equal to, then you have 3 conditions: less than, greater than, equal to. Then ELIF आ जाएगा. Okay, तब ELIF आ जाएगा. Otherwise, 2 condition is if else is enough. Okay, this is what you both were trying. Okay, now what Ranjan has done is, now his logic is, he is assuming okay, you have 3 numbers A, B, C. Now to begin with, he is assuming that A is highest. Assume A is highest. Now you compare A with B. Is A higher or B higher? B higher. If B is higher, then interchange. So let's say here you are saying high is the 4th variable. You are saying high equal to A. High equal to A. High is the 4th variable, and by default you are assuming that A is high. Now you check for B. Is high greater than A nahi, B. A is already taken care of, right? Now you check. If high greater than B, he assume A is highest. Now you're comparing A with B. If B is higher, see, is high greater than B, then do nothing. Else, interchange. Interchange means high becomes B now. Because B is greater than A, so A और B में high क्या हो गया? B हो गया. Now again he's checking. So now high is B. Okay. If A is highest, then nothing is happening. Your high is remaining A. If B is higher, then high becomes B. Now you are checking. If here you don't have to have if ELIF, because each of these is a different thing. If your C greater than high, if it is yes, then you'll say high equal to C. So finally, last में क्या मिलेगा? High is the highest. Okay. So let's do that in program here. So let's say you have, we'll take same number. Okay. So now he's assuming high equal to num1. Now if high less than num2. If high is less than num2, matlab num2 is greater than num1. So you say high equal to num2. Okay. Now again you will check here. If high less than num3. Yes, high is less than num3. Then high equal to num3. Okay. This is what he is doing. Okay. So now when you run it, num2 is getting coming from here. And here you can simply say print outside. Okay. Outside if print high is the highest. Whatever be. Right. So now when you run it, 198 is highest. Okay. You make it 98. Still 198, right? You make this as 28, let's say. Okay, 168 is highest. Assume कर रहे हैं, हाँ. अब जैसे ये 3 किताब है. I put 3 books in a row and ask you which has maximum number of page. So what will you do? You take this book, 50 pages. So till now 50 is highest. Then you'll compare the second book. Oh, 150. Then you'll say 150 is highest. Now you go and check the third book, 300. Oh, 300 is highest. Now we'll say, oh, 300 is the highest. So you're going step by step. 1, then 2, then 3. Okay. So now you see, if now look at the number of conditions that you are checking. Okay. Number of conditions. So in this case, okay, even if num3 is highest, you have to go through all this. But even if num1 is highest, also you have to go through all this. Right? So इसको in algorithm का language में we call it as time complexity. Time complexity means how many lines are getting executed. Basically, how many conditions. Correct. If ELIF else में ये advantage है. If your if works, you don't have to check for ELIF and else. But if you're coming to else, then both are same. But if first one is highest, then the first becomes better because you don't have to check rest of the condition. Here, whatever be the situation, you have to check all 3 conditions. Okay. Nested if. So nested if will save time, will make your program faster. So in terms of speed, the previous one will be faster than this. Data पे करना है. Okay. So this is how, you can achieve the same thing. Now, now let's do one more program. Okay. And this will be our last program in if, then we will move to loops. Now, write a program to find, okay, write a program to input 3 sides of a triangle. Write a program to input 3 sides of a triangle and find if it's a equilateral lateral isosceles or scalene. Okay, so you'll take 3 sides just like this. You take 3 sides, but now I want you to tell me, is it equilateral triangle or isosceles triangle or scalene triangle? Okay, similar exercise, very similar to what we have done. Correct. So we feel that, nested is tough, but nested is actually very easy. When you practice, you'll feel that nested is actually easier and better. Okay, so this is how you can perform equilateral isosceles and scalene triangle. Okay, so obviously not the way we want to do. Okay, so this is how you can do if. Now we'll focus on loops. We'll just start the concept of loops, and next week we'll do programs. Yes. So what is loop? Repeating, correct? That's what we discussed, that loop is to repeat. So if you want to print same thing 10 times, 20 times, we do it using loops. Okay, there are 2 types of loop. One is when you know how many times to run, that is called as for loop. For loop, okay, is used when you know exactly how many times you need to run. 5 bar, 10 bar, 15 times, 20 times, for loop. And second time is while loop, when you don't know how many times to run, but there's a condition. Run till user says yes. Do it till I get the answer. Okay, so this loops until the given condition. So to understand for loop, we also need to understand next function that we're going to talk about, called range. Range a comma b comma c. Range is a function that takes 3 values, a, b, and c. Okay, range is a function that takes 3 values, a, b, c. A is your start value. B is your ending value. We say up to, not equal to. Okay, start is equal to, but B is up to. B is less than end, not exactly equal to end, less than end. A is equal to start, B is less than end, and C is increment. मतलब मैं समझा रहा हूं. Now if I say range 2 comma 9 comma 3, when I say range 2 comma 9 comma 3, okay, range 2 comma 9 comma 3. So range will generate range of values. So range function generates range of values. Okay, let me put it in a share. Okay, so what are the values that it will generate? So start with 2. So 2. Next number will be increment 2 plus 3. Last wala increment. So 2 plus 3 is 5. Next number will be 5 plus 3, 8. Next number will be 8 plus 3. Next number will be 8 plus 3, 11 plus 3. Next number will be 14 plus 3. Correct. But see here. Ye start hai, very good. This is increment, so we are right. But we have an ending number also. What is that ending number? 9. It should be less than 9, not even equal to 9. So less than 9 kahan tak hai? 8. So it's going to generate only values from 2 to 8, 2, 5, 8. No 9 or no 11. So starting with ending number, increment by the increment value and up to the maximum number. So 2, 5, 8. If I give 11 here, then what happens? No, 11 should be less than 11, not equal to. So 11 will also not get added. So output will be same 258 only. Output will be 258 only. If I make it 12, then it will have 11. So range will generate range of values. From where to where? I'll say, give me the numbers. You'll ask me what numbers. Oh, start from 2. Then what? Increment by 3. So 2, 3, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, so on. Now, यहाँ पे है ना थर्ड नंबर, इसी सीक्वेंस में देना है. A is start, B is end, C is increment. A, B, C format. You have to give in this 3 format only. Okay, so this is called range function. Now range can have 2 values also. Range can have A comma B. It may not have C. If C is not there, then it will give you default C value is 1. Default value of C is 1. If you see a range of only 2 values, you don't see 3 values. If you see range with 3 values, then first one. Okay. But if you see range with only 2 values, then increment is not there. By default increment is 1. If you do not have increment, then default increment is 1. You can have range with 1 value also. So if you have range with 1 value, let's say 5, it means start is 0, default. Increment is 1. So you start with range 5 will give you 0, 1, 2, and that's it. Why 1, 2? Why not 3? 3 will come. 4 will also come. I was confusing you. Yeah. Yes. 5 will not come. Always less than. Ending is always less than. Right. So default start is 0. When start is not given, if start is not given, default start is 0. If start is not given, default start is 0. Increment default is 1. So if you see 3 values in range, these are the values. First is start, second is end, third is increment. When you have the 2 values in range, when you see 2 values, it is start and end. Increment default is 1. If you see only 1 value, It is the ending value, starting with 0 and increment of 1. Okay, so let's take one example here. So if I want to generate values from 0 to 9, so what will I say? I will say range 9. If I say range 9, it will generate values from 0 to 9. But how do we print it? Okay, so I have to call range 10 times. First 0, then 1, then 2, so on. So we write something called as for loop counter, okay, equal to, yeah, I'll show you how to print, then we'll talk about. For counter equal to value from range, right? So counter should take value from range. So how do you take? We have this membership. This is why we use membership. Membership operator we did yesterday, I think. First thing that we did yesterday or day before, I'm not sure. Okay, for counter in range, that means I'm saying counter will go to range and take a value. One value at a time. So first range will be 0, then range will be 1. So this loop will repeat from 0 all the way up to 9. Okay. So now if I say for counter in range, okay, 9, print counter. If I say print counter, you see here, automatically you're getting value. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why only 8? Because we gave 9. If you give 9, it will go only up to 8. So if you need up to 10, you have to say 11. If you need up to 9, you have to say 10. If you need up to 99, you have to say 100. If you need value up to n, you have to say n plus 1. Okay, so here you can say 10. This will give you value to up to 9. Huh. Huh? Okay. Correct. So see, range is generating value, in is assigning. In हमने क्या था? I remember I in India. So here when you use for loop, you're assigning value to counter. Counter is taking value. This in any variable. Okay, you can say counter, you can say I, you can say k, any variable. And this variable will take the value from range one by one. That's why you're printing counter here. Okay, so this will go on till you are done with all the elements in for loop. So it will stop only after doing 9, printing 9, because it's going to call it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, up to 9 times. Okay, 10 times, up to 10 times. 0 to 10 times is 9 only. Okay, so this is how you can get values using for loop. We'll see more examples next week. If you give here n plus 1, you get up to n. If I need up to 1000, I have to say 1000 plus 1, 1001. Then only it will go up to 1000. Right? Only if I go up to 1001, I can get up to 1000. Right? Yes. Okay, we'll do one more example and we'll end it here. While I told you is based on condition. So same example I'm going to do using while. So if while is true, okay, then it goes into while. We say print whatever x, let's say, or z. Okay. So, okay, so here I said while what? Okay, I want to print z. So while z is less than 10, not equal to 10. I said z is less than 10. So 9 tak hoga. If I had said like equal to, it would have been gone up to equal to 10. So if z is less than 10, I'm printing z. But what is the assignment value of z? We have to assign here 0. So now when I assign z equal to 0, here z 0 is less than 10, true or false? True. So it prints z here. Now it goes up. What is the z value? 0 only. No, we are not doing anything. So z value is always 0. So that means this condition will always be true. That means this print will always be printed. Infinite loop. Format is inbuilt. Now you see here, it goes on. You see this output here? It's on and on. It's going on. Okay, because z is always less than 10. Okay, and we are checking z is less than 10. Yes, then print. It goes up, checks, prints, goes up, checks, print, goes up, checks, print. It's not able to check if it is, more than z or less than z. Because here you're always taking the value of z and comparing the z less than 10. Okay, so what you have to do is to fix this problem. Okay, after printing z, I can say here, okay, z equal to z plus 1. Okay, now when you run it, so this is coming from second one, while z is less than 10, while z is less than 10, okay, it goes inside print z. So initially z is 0. 0 is less than 10, true. Goes and prints 0. Goes and prints 0 here. Okay, then we are saying z equal to z plus 1. Now z became 1. Goes up 1 less than 10? Yes. So prints 1. Now 2. Okay, because z is earlier 1. Now z plus 1 becomes 2. Okay, 2 is less than 10? Yes, we'll print it. Up to 9. 9 is less than 10? Yes, so you'll print 9. Now comes here. Now z is becoming 10. So again you check, is 10 less than 10? No, 10 is not less than 10. False ho jayega, right? So if this is not less than 10, this becomes itself. It becoming z is not less than 10. Then go into condition and last statement printed is yes. Okay. Yeah. And when you're done, it goes out, stops. The same thing we discussed using loop and, both the loops, for loop and we will see. Okay. See, implementation, you know the difference. You have to give condition. That condition is not required. So if you do not know how many times to run, you have to use while only. You can't use for loop. When I tell you do it 10 times, then you use for. So by looking at the problem, you'll come to know whether should I be using if or. Okay. Correct. Till you reach the ending criteria. Last value जो भी है आपका range. So we'll see next week. We'll see some programs on these two topics. Okay, we'll do and we'll practice if else there also. With that, we will finish our level 2. Okay, level 2 is advanced level. All the logics can be built on what we have done. Okay, so we don't have to worry about all the logics. So loops and conditions are important. Then we'll see a lot more stuff. Okay. So any other question? Next week करेंगे ना? We are still here to do that.